Welcome to Vintage Point with Retabile Maputsi on the 360 experience. Tonight in the primetime stories, Western Cape government blames national government for failing to intervene in curbing ongoing violence in the province. Then men accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend abandons bail application. Then Khoisan community gives 14 days to government to respond to its list and demands. All this and more on the 360 experience.
What Zuma did took our country and handing over back to the victors.
A 26-year-old man accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend and confessing on social media has abandoned his bail application. Lazarus Antononi appeared briefly before the Chambers Magistrate Court in Hamskol on Friday. This faces charges of murder of 20-year-old Khamukelo Maruta and attempted murder of his current girlfriend.
I'm looking at 4 September next week.
I suggested a second.
Excuse me?
I should the 1st of September be Victoria, unless 5 September and or 2nd day of September.
5 September beter.
It's better, thank you very much.
The Khoisan community has given the government 14 days to reply to its list of demands. On Thursday, a group of about 150 people marched to the parliament to formally hand over the declaration and memorandum. They're calling on the government to acknowledge and recognize them and their rights.
Yes, the challenges that the community have with the Traditional Khoisan Leaders Act number 3 of 2019 is that it doesn't specifically recognize the kingdoms and the kings, as well as our people's right to land, our people's right to be part of black economic empowerment, our people's right to the minerals that are under our feet, and also our people's right to be given the same protections as other First Nation peoples around the world, like the people in Australia, the people in South America and America, the Native Americans. They have rights that are given to them under the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People. Those are also we also signed that declaration, but we haven't implemented it as South Africa. Our laws, our constitution, as well as our constitutional laws, don't give us the rights to be called Aboriginal First Nation people. So we're fighting and we're asking, our people have handed this declaration to me, to take it to the Speaker, to take it to the President, and to make sure that the laws of our country align with international norms and standards and with legislation that governs First Nation peoples around the world.
The Western Cape government on Thursday blamed the national government for failing to intervene on curbing ongoing shooting and gang violence in the province. Members of the Western Cape Provincial Parliament debated on the subject in the provincial legislature on Thursday. On the statistic presented in the legislature shows more than 30 people were murdered in the province last month. The National Consumer Commission has announced another recall for some popular vehicles due to safety concerns. The brand affected includes some Ford Mustangs, transit custom vehicles, the BMW X3 47G series, and some Volkswagen Polo and Hino 500 series buses. This is the first recall in September, following the 6 others for previous months.
Ford Motor Company informed the Commission that they are recalling their Ford Mustang vehicles, which were made available from 2021 to 2022. This is due to a low-pressure fuel pump, and of course, the affected vehicles may lose fuel pressure and flow from the fuel tank due to a failure in the low-pressure fuel pump. And as one drives the vehicle, the loss of fuel pressure and the flow can actually lead to internal contamination of the jet pump. And of course, over time, there might be increased internal friction and sensitivity to the vapor lock. And of course, this, according to the manufacturer, may actually lead to an engine stall while one is driving the vehicle, increasing the risk of an accident.
Police and security expect to have issued a fresh warning to the community, avoiding to collect scattered money to the cash in transit Khoisan, stressing that this practice is both criminal and life-threatening. This follows an earlier accident reported by IOL, where a bystander was shot to death in Down Park after attempting to pick up money during the violent CIT robbery.
He is explaining what happened. So he says they were in the house as a family, and then they started hearing, a sound, a huge sound. And before they knew it, they saw a cash in transit vehicle just outside the house, and some of the security guards from that company that remains undisclosed at this particular moment. So some of them were jumping inside, his home, trying to hide from, of course, those that were attacking them at that particular moment. And before he knew it, he started seeing school children, coming out here to collect, the little bit of money that was here, because many of them, even this morning, in fact, we saw people just making rounds here, hoping to find, something that is left of what has happened yesterday. As a result of what has happened yesterday, he says his windows are shattered, and of course, this has left the community living in fear.
Johannesburg Metropolitan Police Department have confirmed the deaths of 2 trainees candidates who were participating in the department's recent recruitment and selection process. These deaths occurred after the JMPD began its physical assessment on the 25th of August. An 80-year-old doctor and 17-year-old grandson appeared in the Khoisan Magistrate Court in Free State on Thursday. Medical doctor and his grandson face several charges, including murder, attempted murder, beating the end of justice, and reckless endangerment, the contravention of the Firearm Control Act. The teenager cannot be named because he's a minor. That was all with Ratabi Maputsi on the Vintage Point and the 360 experience. Make sure that you like and share. For more updates, make sure that you hit the subscribe button. It's goodbye for today. Until we meet next time. Ciao, ciao.
What Zuma did took our country and handing over back to the good guys.